How's it going, everybody? I'm X-Large with Team Alpha Recon. Today I'm going to be talking about things that you can do to help you prepare for your first Airsoft game or your first MilSim experience, and also training options or simulations that you can do to make you a better Airsofter. One of the first things I recommend if you haven't ever played Airsoft before is to start reading a little bit about the gear, and start reading on the forums about what you need as the bare minimum to get you started. And I've done a video about that before. You can check it out. I'll put a link below for beginners Airsoft loadout advice. Once you watch that video and you get past that step, I recommend then trying to find some sort of training or trying to find somebody to practice with. Like me and my buddy Reaper, the other CO from our team, we started training in the backyard CQB at 20 feet away with AEGs. Yeah. It sounds crazy, yeah, but hey, that's some good training, man. And we got out there and we would do it like as much as we could. We'd do it like 3 times a weekend, and we'd burn through BBs like crazy. But it got us to where when we went out our first time and actually did an op, we did really well at the op, because we were used to fighting where there was not a lot of reaction time to be had. And once you get into that situation where you learn how to move that quick and you learn how to shoot that quick, you can do a lot better in a longer range situation, because you can dodge. You can actually see the BBs and dodge them, which I notice a lot of people don't try to do. They don't try to move out of the way. But the next thing I recommend is, if you can't get any formal training, or if you can't actually get outside to train, then use a simulator. I use Arma 2, Arma 3. I mean, it's a video game, yes, but there is a reason why militaries around the world use a version of Arma, which is called a virtual battle system or battlefield. I can't remember what it's called. Virtual battle system or virtual battlefield. Look it up, you'll find it. And they use that, or virtual battle simulator, that's what it is, VBS. And they use that to train soldiers how to react to certain situations, like medical situations. They also train them how to fight on this. Other than, they don't actually teach them the physical things that they need to be the gunfighters that they're going to have to be on a real battlefield. But it gives them the mental framework for what they need to do to accomplish certain situations, accomplish goals in certain situations. I've logged around 900 hours in Arma 3. It's really over 1,000, but they reset my count back. I don't know why. I've logged over 1,500 hours in Arma 2, including the DayZ mod. And those kind of things like that will make you a better player. I don't care what other people try to tell you about video games, but if you're playing a simulator that teaches you how to think before you actually make an action or before you actually do something, you're going to be a little bit better in real life if you remember the choices that you had to make on the game. Another thing I recommend is getting you a good camelback and a hydration pack, because the hydration pack will save your life in certain situations. I remember we were at an op recently. It was like the 5th grid wall, and there was kids falling out all over the field. I'm talking about everywhere. They were falling out like at our spawn, Like, I mean, I'm a grown man. I was walking back, and I would see kids that looked like they were in pretty good shape. I'm talking about just falled out. Like, they looked like they were about to die at the spawn because they didn't drink any water. They got way too overheated, thought that they could sprint everywhere they could go. It's another thing. I watch these YouTube videos of these guys, and it's intense. You know, they're running, they're sprinting everywhere they go. But more than likely, they're getting shot. I mean, let's be honest. If you're sprinting across an open field with 4 other people and you're just yelling, go, 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 and you're running and you're shooting, you're getting shot. The video's not showing them getting shot, you know. Unless they did some just amazing, I mean, trust me, they're getting shot. And that's another thing I don't like about a lot of the community out there who's posting up these vids. They try to post their vids and make them look really intense, where they're like running, you know. If you watch our vids aren't that intense, but we're getting constant kills and we're accomplishing our objectives. And that's the point of the game, is to do that, is to get kills, not get killed, and accomplish your objective. The goal of the game is not to run around and look like you're doing some pro-ass shit, but when in all reality you're getting your ass lit up and you're just not calling your hits. That's not the way to be. Don't be like those teams that put that kind of footage up, because it's fake footage. They're not showing you anything that they're actually doing that's good, and they're just showing you bad training discipline. Another thing is, like, if you find something that works, like right now, check this out. Somebody made fun of me for doing this the other day, but I found out that this gun shoots further than almost every gun that I have, and it's got a shorter barrel than almost every gun that I have. I don't understand it. It's one of those freak machines that shoots just retarded far. I'm talking about, I shot a dude at almost probably 160 feet, 170 feet, running out of an open entrance, and I pegged him with it, running. If he was sitting still, I could probably hit him 220, 240 feet, you know. And this is just talking about adjusting the hop up and shooting straight. If I were to aim up, I could shoot way further with this. Somebody made fun of me for putting a scope on a CQB weapon. But in real life, right, this gun would shoot a long ways, you know. This gun would have around the same range as a normal 5.56 with a short barrel, you know. And that's a long ways. So a 4X scope or a 3x9 scope is not going to be overkill for that. I still don't understand people's thought process in airsoft. If my gun shoots a long ways, then I should have a scope to where I can see a long ways. I know it's not an ACOG and it's not all fancy, but I guarantee you that when I look through this thing, I can see the person on the other side and the crosshairs on him, and when I pull the trigger, it's going to hit him. That's all it needs to do. Anyways, another thing you should do to prepare yourself for your first event, bring some BBs so you're not bumming off of people. And don't bring cheap BBs, bring good BBs, you know. Don't buy like 12s, buy some 20s, and make sure they're decent 20s. When you show up to that airsoft field, you need to, if you're trying to make a name for yourself, first you need to operate. You need to go there, and whatever objective they give you, you need to try to accomplish that objective and get back to command net and let them know that you finished the objective, so they know that you're a solid player. They know that you're somebody that's going to get the job done. And then when the next shit comes, they're going to look for you and they're going to be like, all right, I know you'll get it done. And then they'll put you in charge of a fire team unless you have a team already. But that's another story. If you've got a team already, then you probably already practiced, you know. Another thing to know about when you're getting into airsoft and it's your first time, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be expensive. It is. I mean, a cheap op, a mini op, is going to cost you $25 to $50, and an expensive op is going to cost you anywhere from upward to $100 to $200. That's pretty expensive for somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, or somebody like me who has to pay their own bills. But I digress. Just be prepared. That's the number one best piece of advice I could give you for your first airsoft game or skirmish or your first MilSim op. Be prepared. And be prepared to get shot. And be prepared to call your hits. That's the number one thing really to me, is be honest. Have loyalty to the sport. You know, because if you're gonna go and do the sport, at least abide by the honor code. You know, because it's a sport of honor. It's not a sport where we're constantly policed and people can see when we're cheating. Because there's a lot of times where you get shot and people don't see it, and you can totally not call your hits. But that's not the point. The point is, when you get shot, you're dead. And in real life, you would be dead, or you'd be really fucking hurt. You'd be fucked up. And you wouldn't be able to continue normally. You might be able to fight, but you might not be able to continue normally. And what that's simulating when you get hit and you're dead is you're out of the field of battle, basically. So when you get hit, call your hit. It's not the end of the world. So what if you got killed? That's your mistake. That you made that mistake. You know what I mean? The other guy, it's not his fault that he shot you. That's what he's supposed to do. You made that mistake, you died, own up to it, go back to the respawn, do what you need to do and get back on the field. Take that time to go out there and take a break, formulate a plan, and then go back out there and act on it, you know? Instead of just trying to be like, I notice a lot of these kids try to play like it's Call of Duty and they run around just YOLO, and they must have like level 4 body armor on them, because when you're shooting them, they're not calling their hits. And I've had this happen several times where I've had to tell a dude to call their hits, and usually they don't like it. And I've had people try to tell me that I wasn't calling my hits as well. That's another thing. Just because you think you're hitting somebody, unless you got a scope, that's the reason why I always run a scope now. Unless you got a scope, you don't know if you're hitting them or not. Unless you're fucking close. And then you know because you see the BBs hitting them. But if you're out like past 60, 70 feet, you can't tell the BBs are getting all the way to the spot that they're getting to. Because at the end, they normally break off right or left, or they go down. Depending on if you have a really nice hopped up gun. But, nah, man, I had a guy try to tell me that I wasn't calling my hits. And I was not getting shot. And he was shooting and the BBs were kicking off way to the left right at the last second. He was sitting there screaming at me. So to handle that situation, you just laugh at him. Just be like, all right, man, you're not fucking hitting me. You know what I mean? And if he doesn't believe you, you can show him the camera footage after the game. And I'm pretty sure that whoever was yelling at me, they've seen the video and they saw they weren't hitting me. They felt like a pretty big asshole. Another situation you should look out for at your first event is safeties. I don't know if you know about safeties. Calling a safety is pretty much our slogan. It's our motto as a team. Bang, bang. You know what I mean? Bang, bang is how you call a safety. Or you can say surrender and ask them and give them a choice to fight back. But I don't. I normally bang, bang them, and if they don't take that choice, then I shoot them. You know? I had a guy last op. He ran out and bang banged 2 of my teammates, and then I bang banged him, and he was like, no, you're too far away. We were like 18 feet away, which is fairly close. I mean, he was so close that if I would have shot him, it'd have really hurt him. You know what I mean? Which I did shoot him, but this is a later point in the story. He comes out, and he shoots 2 of my teammates bang bang at like 15 feet, and he's only like 3 more feet away from me, and I bang bang him, and he's like, no, man, you're too far away to bang bang me. So when somebody argues with you like that or about a safety, that means they're down to fight, and they're down to shoot. So as soon as he said, no, man, I said, okay, and I lit his ass up, and I shot him, and I made sure that he was dead before he fucking started trying to pull a pistol or whatever. I shot the shit out of him. But those are special situations that you need to use your own discretion at, because you can get in trouble for doing that in certain fields. The place where I was playing, referees are kind of telling us like, hey man, if they're not calling their hits, shoot them more, you know, light them up. This guy didn't want to accept his safety, so that meant that he wasn't dead and I wasn't dead. So I shot his ass. End of story. Get ready for that shit too, and get ready to deal with people that just don't know how to handle situations. Like, get ready to deal with some meatheads out there too. Another thing I can tell you is try to get some camo, man. It doesn't sound like it makes a difference because you look at some of the way that some of these people dress out there, but I guarantee you that those people that are like in solid black or in solid tan, not wearing any breakup, they're the first people to get spotted. You can see somebody wearing that shit from so fucking far, it's retarded. You can see them just barely move way out there because they're wearing a solid pattern. But if you were to be wearing multicam, or like I've been wearing like the Cryptech, I'm telling you, man, they will not be able to see you. Even some ACU would break you up better than solid tan or solid black. You know, even though ACU is not meant for this environment, it still breaks you up better. Because you can have a guy out there and he'll be out there like 50 yards close, and he'll be like dipping in the trees and you cannot see his ass, but then there'll be another guy right beside him wearing like a black hat, and you can just see that little black hat, and that's the only thing you see, and then you shoot him, and then you shoot the other guy because of his buddy wearing the black hat. You know what I mean? But once you get to a point as a team where you think you're good enough that it doesn't matter what you wear, yeah, wear whatever you want, you know what I mean? But in the beginning, wear some camo, because it'll save you a lot of shots, and then that in turn will get you a lot of kills. But basically, this has been my video about what you should do and what you should bring to your first airsoft event. Remember, always be prepared. Train. Bring water. Remember to call your hits. You know what I mean? Bring a decent gun. $100. Show the other team respect. Don't try to flaunt that you killed them. You know what I mean? Don't be an asshole. And remember, if somebody's in a situation where you need to call your safeties, remember to call your hits. Bang, bang.